think we're live. I think we are live, folks. Please bear with me as we turn on the fan in the studio. We need to make sure we get some Luft. Luft. You know what Luft is in Yiddish or in German? I Luft, air. Give these people air. Give them air. Um, all right. Well, anyway, let's try to get a little comfortable here. God. Oh man, I want to tell you. I'll start with this. I've been involved in the fitness workout thing for a long time. But bodybuilding, I've been kind of on and off. It's like, okay, well, I wasn't bodybuilding, then I was dancing. Then I wasn't dancing, I was doing kind of like martial arts and stuff. So always doing something, but kind of like when I get into one, that's all I kind of do. Um, but it's not true. I'll go out like, and I'm bodybuilding now, but like last night I went out and I'll talk about that in a minute. That'll lead into the topic of discussion. No tea right now because it's a little seasonably warm. It was warm today, even though it's like around midnight, close to midnight in Los Angeles right now. But it's, I handle the temperatures very well. It doesn't. I don't care. But talk about Vegas so much. I don't give a fuck if it's 110 or whatever. I don't fucking care. Um, but I want to talk about the doctor thing first because it's blogs and some people's opinions on is it worth it? Is it worth it? Here's my story. I think I've talked about this before, but I like to give my 2 cents on it, where I'm at and what I think about it. I already told you about the degrees that I got. Leading up to my master's when I was 44. Okay, in phys ed. I'm gonna be 48 next month. I jumped right into basically I was looking into the doctoral. I wanted to get a doctorate degree. I knew that like right when I got my master's. I said, all right, let's keep going, let's keep going. I'm looking up all these schools, and I said, wow, it's my master's was like 30 credits, 30 units. And I said, okay, well, this doctorate degree is like 60 credits. It's going to take twice as long. I said, all right, fine, whatever. But then I started to see schools that had like a 54 unit doctoral degree, then even 45 units. So I was like, well, okay, but then they wanted this and that. And I said, well, something like on the way to it, maybe I could pick up something. I didn't want to get a postmaster certificate, but I saw this. I learned about this degree. It's a specialist of education, and I was like, okay, well, 30 units, and that counts toward the doctorate, these programs where I'm going right now. So I was like, okay, well, my master's was 30, so it's not a certificate, it's a degree, like a title. So I was like, all right, well, let's get that specialist degree on the way. Let's do that. So I wound up doing that. It took me a year and a half. Um, I got the specialist degree, and it wasn't that hard. And then what happened was the school that I was going to very generous with taking all the work that I did and moving it into their doctoral program, which wasn't a big deal. I said, well, we're transitioning, we're going to be able to accept half the work, maybe in a year or so. I go, within a year, what am I going to do till then? And what if they don't, So I said, all right, you know what? I'm going to go somewhere else. That's what I did. I found this other school, Franklin University. I said, well, they were very generous with their transfer credits. So they took all the work I did, put it in there. And okay, so I just take all these classes and then move into the dissertation thing. So I said, okay, all right, I'll do it. I'll do it. And that's exactly what I did. I powered through. I had to take like 6 months of statistics. Shit was not fun, um, students. We were working together in groups. Then I was charged with plagiarism because, you get all the same answers, but we're working together. We're allowed to work in groups. We had to turn in our own answers, and we were getting the same answers. So teachers like, well, who's copying who? It turned into a big deal. But it was, I wound up having to repeat statistics class. Fucking took me so it basically took me 6 months of work, but I got through all of it, and then I wound up passing all my classes. So, like, you think, all right, like doctor degree is on the way. I'm almost there, and as they're telling me, I'm almost there, and this fucking dissertation thing basically killed me. Couldn't even get to it. They had these comprehensive exams, which these people, they were like ball busters. They didn't like my writing. All of a sudden, this is no good. This, and I said, well, what do you mean? I passed all the classes. What's the difference? What's it? And it's basically, I wound up getting dismissed from the school because of these fucking comprehensive exams. So, at least all the work I did was all for, it wasn't all for naught because, of course, you finish work, it's all transferable. So, what I did was I transferred back to the other school that I was initially at, initially where I'm at my specialist degree from. So, I'm there now. And yes, which is doctoral level, and then another year and a half of doctoral level work at this Franklin University. So my point is of all this, I've been in doctoral level work for 3 years now, 3 full years, and I gotta be honest, I'm not even close. Depending on how much work they transfer in, I mean, it's like Jesus, and it's like, sometimes you think about something, God, 3 fucking years. Well, you know what? At least I picked up. Sometimes you gotta look at what you have and not what you don't have. And so I've got the specialist degree, and and I just look at it like, okay, well, hopefully they'll take in all the transfer work I did. I'm trying to, I keep getting denied. They keep asking this and that. I keep doing everything they say, and hopefully, they'll accept some work. If not, then I might have to go somewhere else. And it's like, fuck, dude. The doctor thing is the big one. Like that's, me at that time. I wanted to, I grinded it all out. I was like, why not? I mean, I couldn't, I thought about this. It was, I applied for these jobs teaching, applied for post office jobs, applied for all this shit, and nobody will really reach out to me. I got somebody called me from Las Vegas. It was like a special needs school. And they were like real sick children that are like somebody with a special education degree to be working with those kids. Now I have a phys ed degree. I can't be working with that. I don't, and plus I prefer not to work with kids. I just, it's just not my thing. I don't like it. I mean, the university, like UNLV or something like that's a different story. They're not kids. They're, I was a kid once too, and I was nice, but those kids are really brutal. Um, and I hate to sound selfish, but I got to do shit for me, man. Like, I want to own my own condo, like you keep talking about. I want to have these things, and I'm willing to give. I'm willing to sacrifice. But it's got to be real fair. It's like they punish the working man nowadays. It really is. That's fucked up. If you work, and that's what I talked about this in the last episode. People that work and you know they should be, and if they don't, then the schools can't afford to stay in business, in my opinion. You need to pay these fucking people sacrifice for their time. The school's got the nerve to charge tuition. I'm paying out of pocket because for one semester because I wound up those 2 courses I initially took before I lateral to schools. I wound up make up those courses, and you're not getting financial aid till you straighten that out. And the only way to straighten it out was to pay out of pocket, so I did, and that's like fuck, dude. $3,600. I take 2 online. It's like throwing money away, but yeah, I hate saying that. It's not. In a way, it is throwing, but dude, I threw away that amount of money at the casino dozens and dozens and dozens of times. So, the investment invest in yourself, even if those degrees don't take you fucking anywhere in life. Let me tell you something about school. Let me give this to you. If you're thinking you're going for your bachelor's right now or your associates, and you're like, "Yeah, this is all a waste of fucking time." You know what? It might be. It might be a waste of time. But let me tell you something. If you persevere and get that degree, it's something that nobody can take away from you. It's something that shows, hey, you know what? I grinded it out. Now what else can I do? Listen, I know a friend, he worked for like Wells Fargo. He's got a degree in fashion design. It didn't work out from fashion design. But the point is, oh yeah, dude owns a fucking $1 million house now, multi-million. But it's like those people that persevere in life. It's not the degree, there's the perseverance that you grinded it out, that you did it. That's how I look at it. It really is. Now, again, I have a master's degree, but I got the degree just, like, because what are you going to do? Apply for a job at a university. This is not like personal training, some studio where you just go and go, oh yeah, okay, this is my degree right here. That's okay. That might be the case. Yes, physical, but you know what? Anybody can take anabolics. Now, I'm not on any steroids or anything like that, but point, my point, doesn't mean how to how to train people, like different people, and not everybody is this. There's people different, have their own strengths and their weakness, age, and there's so many factors. And it's not just training people. There's also like a mental psychology, that you can teach it. It's not just simply, people don't understand there's a huge difference, in fitness between powerlifting, bodybuilding. What I do is what I call what do I call it? I call it cosmetic body shaping, is what I call it. What's it? Mike O'Hearn, he does like different types of combinations of powerlifting and bodybuilding, their own kind of thing. I've got mine. So the whole thing is, the more credentials you have under your belt, the more people will take you seriously. You got a master's degree in phys ed, yeah, yeah. So that took me almost 3 years to get that. I took my time to get that degree, but it was hard earned. It was supposed to be sports administration. I don't know why it says phys ed on my degree, but it was supposed to be sports admin, because most of my classes, they were like administrative. I studied sports management. There was no real physiology, anatomy, or anything like that. It is what it is in sports tonight. So it's really cool. Whew, I'm in the middle. I'm retaking those two classes right now, and it's kind of short. They're 8 weeks. And I typed up like a 10-page paper, turned that shit in. This fucking, I said, what the fuck is this bullshit? Policy analysis, current trends and these. No fucking guarantee I'm gonna use that to be, to teach, if they're gonna hire me. Is that like? But you know what? I look at it like this: unless there's something better going on, gotta be doing something. The world. Think about this: the Earth continually turns 365. It does not stop on its axis. And so that means everything moves forward. Everything goes forward. Now, you're not going forward. You're actually going backwards if you think about it. Because everything is going forward. The first, either, I don't know, you own your own house or your mortgage, you go on the first, everything that comes every 30 days, give or take. So, it's like, it's not to be a productive member of society. I hate when people say life is hard. I like saying life is challenging. Um, you know, to lead into what happened last Saturday night. I know I've talked about the same things, but what I do is I highlight and I add on to what happens. Think about this. It's like a bum sitting there. I hate generalizing the black guy, some bum, and that's exactly. They're doing nothing. They're going nowhere, and they have not. They're just sitting there. Now they might have mental illness or something like that. I don't know. It's irrelevant. But think about this. what kind of guy like that seriously? Now it's very ironic. I was coming home from my gym a couple. I saw there was a guy on my way to the gym. It's not like there's a sidewalk that goes up, I could tell you what street, but why? What's the difference? Um, this black guy, he was laid out on the sidewalk, full. So he was basically covering the whole sidewalk, and it was very shocking because I live in a fairly affluent area, and I went around. I had to walk in the street to get around him, and coming back, there was a this woman, like, she was pretty water and stuff, get him doubled, but he didn't care, like, mental, whatever. And she's trying to help him. And I was on the other side of the street where it's like, it's like 80 yards away. And I said, there's nothing you can do for that guy. He doesn't care for himself. So if you don't care about it, you can't, or he's mental or alcoholic or drug addict, or it doesn't matter. If you can't care for, you can't help somebody that can't help themselves. You can't. If they can put them in a home or something, or get up, what are you gonna fucking do? He didn't even care. Like when he got up, it was like a valiant effort to try to help somebody that can't even help themselves. And I already talked about what I saw. They were building kind of like lockdown housing for them. And that was kind of cute. Cities, little the city, like it's just big enough for a room and a bathroom kind of thing, and that's not the answer. That's not kind of thing. It's not that ain't it. That ain't it. No, it starts at the beginning, and I don't want to get into it too much, but it comes from somewhere, man. And I already talked about, in the beginning, people should be forced to look out for each other, and you know what? Homelessness should be illegal. It should be illegal to be homeless because everybody does come from somewhere. You shouldn't, if you're a kid, you don't get put out on the street. And I know it's like impeding freedom, but you know what? The homeless thing, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Anyway, so I went up to the Piggy on Saturday, but he gives some decent advice. He gives their hospital of scaring these women, and I just watch how he runs his thing, and then he reels them in. He's definitely some of his struggles and stuff like that. Here out of LA, I don't like to reach out to these people because it makes you feel like you're so far beneath. Like dude, I'm almost 50 years old. I don't mind education, but I don't need to take on a persona of somebody half my age to try to coerce women. I mean that's bullshit. So I go up to the Piggy, and it's I'm like, man, what the fuck is going on here? Well, I mean, we start saying, it's after the first. Then he made a very good point. He made a very good point. It's like, wow, yeah, I remember the people after the first, they kind of, the money thing is always kind of tight. Yeah. And I started, this DJ up there, he just fucking sucks, dude. It's going to be a miracle. Like, it was started off with like the 70s kind of shit. And oh my God, I heard one song. I said, all right. So I started to get down. And then the second, like after like about 3 or 4 minutes, he changed the tempo completely. And then it was the kiss of death. Just all fucking night long. Then he kind of switched it up to kind of Usher, which that helps. And I saw there were like kind of a group of older people. And I just happened to be up there, I was going, and I said, all right. So I got down. I did the Thriller thing, and they all laughed for me. I was like, oh great, you're dancing clown monkey again. Here's what it is. It's the 25 years all wrapped up in 3-4 minutes. And there was one chick. She was not bad. She was pretty good. I wish it was to my basically. There's nobody, and they're at the table. She's maybe 17 feet from me. I'm trying to give realistic numbers, maybe 20 feet, if that. And the security guard, I'm talking with the security guard, and we kind of, the security guard and me really hit it off because he knew his he knew his bodybuilding history, and I was very impressed. Even though he wasn't really well put together, but the guy knows his shit. So okay, so we just kept talking, and I figured so where else am I gonna go? Like now the women thing, I'm looking at them and well, how come you just didn't, I had my glass of water. How come you just didn't walk over there and introduce yourself? Because I don't do shit that way. Okay. On a Saturday night, like a DJ music going on, that's my MO. That's like what I'm there to do. If something develops organically, I'm so needy and desperate. I feel every time I've done that in my life, I've never gotten anything. Never, because you're bothering them. They're involved in their conversation. They're not date dudes. They're not there to meet me. Okay. To me, something has to, like, I shouldn't have to try so hard. Okay, I'm sorry. Like, you shouldn't have to try so hard, especially Saturday night. They won't even look at you. Like I'm standing there. I'm wearing a fucking, not wearing something like this. I have a form-fitting dress. It's like a short sleeve. It's got like a Greek marble like Mount Olympus statue guy on it. It's really cool, like a hip hop kind of shirt. And I had my fedora kind of. I was looking pretty fucking good, brand new fucking ASIC shoes, a form fit, jeans are like it looked fucking like a fucking little bodybuilder kind of thing. I mean, I was pretty solid, and women wouldn't even look at me. So it just shows you, hey man, what's the point? What's the fucking thing? So what happened was there's a strip club next door, and they're walking, they're going to the bar, but they're not. None of those women, for it's funny because back in the day, some of those older, like those porn stars in the '90s, they would go to those strip clubs or whatever. Fuck, I mean, that was my type. But they're just not well. They're not. They look like nothing. I mean, it's a surprise. They might be young, but they don't look like nothing, or they're trying too hard. So yeah, I'm just trying to be nice. Some of these women walking by, like there was a couple of these black women walking by, and I have my hat. So what I do is I just kind of like I took my hat, went like a Charlie Chaplin kind of thing, smile, they kind of laugh, they walk by, and then that girl, the one the one that I liked, she turns at me and she goes, "Why don't you run after them?" Now I didn't give a reaction. Maybe I did. I don't remember, but there was a guy that joined. His deal is I don't know if he's with them. He introduced. I didn't see the introduction, but all of a sudden there's a guy, this little guy that joined in, and the woman that I liked said, "Why don't you run after them?" And I didn't know what I wanted to say. What I wanted to say to her, now it became apparently things just, these women threw you a curveball. Like, why would she say something like that? I said, like, well, just because I'm being friendly doesn't mean that I'm interested. Like, this woman has no idea how difficult it is, for a guy that has social anxiety, difficulties of trying to get laid and meet women. She says, how can she know anything? Because he's a woman with big tits that's used to getting hit all the time. Now, I would love to have said that. I could have write it there, but then here's what you do. Number one, the security guard's right there. So I'm starting a heated. The guy, and that would be come off. That would, if I said something like that, that would come off as verbally insulting, like to throw it like right back at her. So it's like she's throwing something at me, and it's like if I throw it at her, you're laid. I mean, it sounds cute, like when you can throw shit back in people's faces, but there's really nothing to gain by it. Then the guy start on, the guy, you're a magician, right? And the girl goes, these other two women sit down, and so before I'll get to them in a second, but the woman goes, well, can you do some magic? Why do you believe? Why are you so gullible? Why do you believe everything you hear? I didn't say gullible. I just said, why do you believe everything? He doesn't even know me. How do you know? And then she goes like, "What's your shtick?" She goes to me. So I go, "You speak Yiddish?" She goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Really?" And she goes, "No." It's like it's lies, lies. Oh, I didn't get reactive like I am now, but I'm just telling you something of the. There was a fat woman that was sitting with them, and I knew she was going to try to do mine if I tried to get that one that I liked out of there. And the one I liked, the only reason she got to go to the bathroom a couple times, like, and I saw how much time she spent on her phone. Now, some attention, but it was kind of like, I could tell when it's a joking, like, wow, hey, what do you do kind of thing. No, it was like a real serious kind of like, you know, what are you kind of thing, like, and so it just really came off negative. Like there was nothing, there's no way I'm going to get her. Like I was kind of like beneath her kind of thing. And I'm not. I wouldn't play into her hand. I would not play into that. This kind of thing about how, what do you do? Well, the guy wasn't defensive at all. Um, I don't know what the guy's deal is. I don't know, because so what he did, those two other women that sat down, they weren't my type either. He used them as conversation kind of thing and intrigue them. So what happened was I said something, that was really interesting about history that they didn't know. They couldn't answer the question. They were going to try to look it up on the phone. I do shit like that because, if you get into women's mind, actually, it's really interesting. So it started with like the history of coins. Why is a coin round kind of thing? They didn't know. So it's actually a really simple answer. But then I moved it into the physics. I said, I don't know. We started talking about the planet. Well, somebody said something about the planets. I said, huh. And I said, well, why are the planets round? And then somebody said, so I asked her, what do you think? What do you think? And I know the answers, right? So I go, well, then why is it so? And so I said, I'm going to give you a minute to think about it. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you the answer. Said, well, we could look it up. I said, go ahead and look it up. But I'm going to tell you, remember, I got her like this, like, and she goes, so what's the answer? And she was so focused on my face. I'll never forget this, right? She wasn't my type at all. And the guy wanted to see what I was using. So I looked at her and I said it real slow and really calmly. I go, a soaked round because it's the most energy efficient configuration. Like, whoa. What it is, it was like the Jedi model for a second. It was a Jedi. You're supposed to catch it with the other hand. But it's really hard to do sometimes, just, it's got to be perfect. And I missed the hat falls down. What's your shtick kind of thing? He wasn't cock blocking. What's his deal? Like, how do you? And I should have said, well, how do you know these people? Like, I could have put the pressure on him, kind of thing. But I didn't want to not create confrontation. He wasn't confrontational, but he wasn't helping me either. Like, he wasn't. Well, hey, come on, like, we'll work together here. We'll work together. Which one do you like? I mean, that's a helper. It was kind of like, I don't know if he was mother henning or what the deal was. Now, what was weird, it went by, the night went by, so it was 1:40 before I knew it. And I started, there's a steep block, on my way home, right at me, right? I was like, what the fuck? So dogs like running in this yard, like right at me. I said, whoa. And this woman comes out, and I mean, I'm gonna be honest, she was like, she was thin. I mean, but she was, like, I've seen women that are 55 that look at. They're few and far between, but they are out there. This was not one of them. But she was. I don't know what happened. I started talking with her. I guess because I was so, irate, not irate, but just over at night, nothing, not getting nothing, not meeting anybody. So, and I told her, cat, right? The cat walks through the whole yard, on this comes right to me, right to me. Like the cat knew, like this is with the cat, it's kind of cool. And we talked for like a half an hour, and I guess and I couldn't really, it was kind of dark out, but I could see it was really hard on it. I'm old now, my face. I go, you know what? Not that big of a deal. I know I'm kind of a superficial guy when it comes to like women's bodies and tits and stuff like that. And it's I see it's in my mind what I like. It doesn't have to be look that won't get hit on. She would get some attention. She has to. It's the way it is. So I mentioned this. Um, is that I'm talking to her, and those three fucking people, the mother hen, the fat woman, the woman that asked me what's your shtick, the one with the good body, and the dude all walked down on the other side of the block, down and they did go aloof, or maybe they just pretend to ignore me or something like that. But they saw him talking to the fucking woman as they turn their head and see me right there. But it's so fucking stupid. I call it the racehorse analogy, the blinders on. I don't know if that guy. I think they fall in the same building or something. I don't think he's. It's very hard to break. And god damn it, like why is it like the ones that like they got the good body go no, like because I was out if she wasn't just my type. I didn't want to. I guess maybe life is like you get like no, it's like is this like I wish there was a guaranteed know for sure, and then I would it's like if a dude works, it's like the security knew he knew his shit, but he was like, and there's a carport, whatever. There's people like they don't look. Cars come up, they're on their phone. But I am this yellow party club, and she just run directions. She just runs like not even paying attention out of their car, and she ran right. This woman had badass body. Fucking nice. I was impressed. Okay, nice, like a 9 on my 9+ on my scale, which is when it gets like that. I don't give a when me not try. Got picked up something really fast, and she's headed back. We're running in the car. So important. She parked in like a red thing to get her fucking thing. It was so stupid. It's amazing. It's always the one. See, they're so busy on a fucking Sunday. She like, are you model? Difficult, and I don't like.